What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. I'm just going to talk through this slate real quick. Probably going to be a very quick show. I did a preview earlier with Adam Perry. We talked about some strategy for Showdown and stuff in general. He and Sheets were chopping it up a little bit about the different styles of sims and that type of thing. Good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to just talk quickly about what I'm doing on this slate and how I'm going to get a little different. I'm not playing a ton of lineups, so I'm willing to embrace some serious variance. The problem is, it is hard to ignore, especially with Middleton out, the Giannis and Shea ownership. I'm going to just be underweight them as captains, underweight them as pros and MVPs in the FanDuel. Doesn't mean I'm going to have none of them, but it does mean I'm going to try to get underweight. You can see I capped them at 25 each, but it's probably going to give me less than that. Let's see where my exposure is. I'm actually going to pull my exposures over here. So yeah, I'm just basically like with the field on Giannis at the moment. I'm probably going to end up trying to get a little further down on that. I just think that you got to take some chances here. And to me, Jalen Williams is the most logical other path. He's going to have some ownership as well, but I think that one I can sort of sit with a little bit better. Lillard's going to be fairly popular as well at captain. If there's anybody else who I think could be the guy, I'm going to go with Bobby Portis. So I'm actually going to be overweight that. And again, I want to have a non-zero exposure to Andre Jackson and Aaron Wiggins, just so in those get them all in type of lineups. I also want to add Casey Wallace to that as well. So trying to do things that get a little bit different. It's tricky. It's hard on a showdown slate. You want to, especially in basketball, you want to generally play the chalk in general. But one thing I'm going to make sure to do is whatever lineups I don't have Shea and Giannis in the captain, they're going to be in all of my utility lineups pretty much. Maybe there'll be one or two that doesn't quite make it. But yeah, my favorite differentiators for captain are I guess not a huge differentiator with Jalen Williams, but with the Bobby Portis, I think that is something that you can do with enough upside to get there. And he's cheap enough to where it can balance out and then let you get maybe that fourth quote unquote star or stud to pay up for. I also think this path with the Wallace, Wiggins, Green, Kenrich, Andre Jackson, the spend downs all make sense. I might even go a little bit higher on Andre Jackson and particularly Andre Jackson and AJ Green, just because I think that there is enough upside for them. You can make a case for AJ Mitchell as well. I just have a feeling the rotations are going to be a little bit tighter tonight with how big the game is. The other one I was trying to consider, but it's probably just a little bit too much, is Caruso. If he was a little bit cheaper, I wouldn't mind firing him off as a captain and just trying to get the best plays in the utility. Hopefully I get my 30, 25 or 30. And that it allows me to get in all the rest of the types of plays that we need to get to. I am, and TJ's asking the question I just answered, so hopefully that's it. I am playing AJ Green. Beauchamp, I don't think is going to play. I have, what do we have Beauchamp projected at minutes wise? Let me just take a quick look. Let me make sure I'm refreshed before I do anything. And I think Beauchamp is probably not playing tonight. I wouldn't imagine. Yeah, there's no projection. I don't think that you could. I mean, you could take a shot and just hope that he gets a few minutes of run. I just don't think they're going to have tighter rotations rather than looser rotations in a game like this tonight. So I would err on the side of mostly sticking to the guys who I think are actually going to play. No problem, Eric. Happy to be doing this. Any other questions and stuff, guys, please get them on in the chat, because I don't, look, it's hard to have too many strong takes, and I'm going to make sure, like, again, if I have this, listen, Giannis, let's just do this. I do want to play Giannis and Portis, and I'm sorry, Giannis and Shea, excuse me, in basically all of my utility lineups. Let me just see. I'm more okay with taking a shot on fading a guy like Lillard, but I'm probably still going to end up with a decent amount of them. Let's rebuild and see where this leaves us at, and then we'll jump over to FanDuel for a minute. The low ownership on Lopez for a good reason. Basically has not come close to producing enough to get there in a long time. Do you want to take that shot? I think you're welcome to go ahead. I'm not personally taking that shot. I like the other angles a little bit better than I do that one. I really don't understand how I could play. I mean, if you just think about the upside for Lopez versus Portis, we've seen it recently from Portis. We haven't really seen it in forever from Lopez. Yeah, if you wanted to take a shot in a lineup or two and you're playing a bunch, yeah, fine. But I'm not going to be the one who's favored of that. Look at that. It didn't give me hardly any Shea in the captain over here. And that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's kind of spreading out my captain ownership, which I'm okay with these types of things on this type of slate. I just would like to be, I don't think I even want to go as high on Dame. I'm really trying to get away from trying to get a little bit more creative with my stuff here. So let's see what the latest one gave us, and it did drop. Did it drop him out? Yeah, I think we just dropped out Lillard with the Sims. Yeah, 3%. That's fine. I'll take one. That's one lineup. But yeah, I mean, look, even though I still have, this is just a good way to get a little bit different. Hopefully you get that 40 fantasy point game from Portis, and you needed the savings to get to Giannis and Shea. That's the most important thing. I think you want to just make sure you're having them in basically every lineup. So if you're not, look, you can see they're 83%, but how do I have Shea as captain? Only 3. So got a couple lineups without Shea, probably not going to stick with that. And the most logical one is Jalen Williams if you're not going to play Giannis or Shea. But I like the idea of getting a little bit different. And the other one that I was thinking about earlier today is Hartenstein, because we know he has some upside, but it's just a little too much to pay. I'd rather spend a little bit less on Portis with maybe a similar upside, I would say. I think there's a chance OKC blows out the Bucks, but I'm not going to bet on the blowout. As of right now, I would say this game probably stays pretty close, and I think you're going to have the best players on the court anyway. So I don't really think that it's going to matter much unless it's like 35 in the fourth quarter. It really would take that big of maybe 30. That might be it. And then on FanDuel, let me just see real quick what I've got in some of these things. Let's expand. I can't expand that. Yeah, so as far as I'm just going to make this 5,000 so I can get a little bit of a wider net. You can see it's going to give me all the Giannis and Shea. So I'm going to, again, manually just take a chance that somebody can outscore them. If there's anybody, it's probably Jalen Williams. So let's just make sure we get at least 10% of that. It's a little harder on FanDuel because obviously these guys are going to be the leading scorers almost all the time. And I think Jalen Williams is the one guy I could see potentially being right there with them. But it's just kind of tricky to get off the chalk as the MVP. And then you get into the star part of it. Yeah, again, it's just really tricky to not have those two guys in those spots in most lineups on FanDuel. Even though I'm trying to find the fade on DraftKings, it's more salary related. You obviously aren't getting any salary discounts on DraftKings, so it's a little bit more difficult to get away from the chalk over there. I wish there was a big giant stance I was taking, but there really isn't one at the moment on FanDuel. I'm just going to take a quick look at my exposure versus ownership. AJ Green, I guess I'm over the field on. I'm over the field on Gary Trent, over the field on Wiggins. I'd rather get more of the Isaiah Joe than the others, to be honest with you. So I'm actually going to go a little bit higher on Joe and make that happen. And Andre Jackson's the other one I could see getting there, but I'm just going to make sure we can set it at 15. I don't want anything crazy. Let's rebuild and see where that leaves us. Tomorrow, I thought I know they were going to do something funny, but I thought there was going to be games tomorrow. What is going on with the schedule this year? It's very strange. I don't know why there's no games tomorrow, to be honest with you. Very, very weird week in general. Not so bad for me because I'm moving. So I've got to figure that part of things out, but I don't know why they didn't play any of the games tomorrow. And Travis with the 5-man OKC, 1 Milwaukee. I think that's definitely contrarian, Travis. Personally, that's not what I'm doing, but I think it's definitely contrarian. Like you can see, I'm getting a bunch of Isaiah Joe now in the utility. I just like that because the shooting upside could allow him that extra run. Now, look, it's a thin line no matter how you slice it. There's too many good bodies for OKC. The only thing that I was kind of playing with my mind with in this one is there a chance they let Kenrich play more because they don't have a natural matchup for Giannis, and he's probably the closest thing. I'm ahead of the field as it is, but let's just take a little bit of a gamble on that one, just in the chance. And he is in a weird, unique price tier at 6,500. Only he and Wiggins are there. Maybe Kenrich can get some extra run because the Giannis matchup specifically. Dame is going to be really popular to answer that question, and there's a good reason for it. I'm probably going to be underweight as the as the captain, but I will definitely have plenty of him in the utility. Caruso or Prince? I think the answer is Caruso. But every now and then Prince will have a game. You're really he's got more minutes upside now with no Middleton, obviously. But I don't know that I really want to play a ton of Touré and Prince. I'm getting to it more on DraftKings than I am over here. I'd rather go the other way over here personally. What am I getting at them right now? 6%. Yeah, I don't really want a ton of Touré and Prince on FanDuel. Lillard over 4.5 rebounds, Lopez under 8.5 points. Okay, that's a reasonable bet. I think that makes plenty of sense. Under 8.5 points is always tough because it's like he hits 2 threes on 2 possessions and like you're dead. You know what I mean? But hey, I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. He hasn't been factored into the offense as much. He's still playing a ton of minutes and just like taking almost no shots. He took 10 shots in the last game. His usage rate might be the lowest I've ever seen on like a player. It's like 10%. It's really, really hard to play in an NBA game and have like a consistent 10% usage rate. It's really, really low for Lopez. So guys, while you're in here, please give us the like, the thumbs up. We're doing these videos for free. So hopefully you guys will at least give us the support and give us the thumbs up. We appreciate it. Also have some great packages going here. We're adding some more to the team and a lot of good stuff going. And then the SaberSim builder, as great as it is, with Sheets and Goldie's projections, is just an awesome I think edge to have over the field. So yeah, so I'm going for the gambling rip method over here. You can see I've got almost no Shea at captain, almost no Giannis, or no, not almost no Giannis. I've got 16% Giannis. I'm going to lower my min a little bit. I want to get a little more contrarian even than that and just get a little bit less Giannis and stick with more of the Portis, Jalen Williams situation. I think that makes more sense to me, just as a way to try to get different. Oh no, it went up to 9.5. Wait, if it's 9.5 though, what is it? Is it minus? What is it, like minus? I guess the under would be plus. What's the plus minus there on that 9.5? Is it 110 or 120? It went up to 9.5, but that's actually good. If you're going to bet under 8.5, you actually gain value because you can bet them at 9. Oh, you already bet it. Oh, okay, that's probably what the problem is. Anyway, this is a rough outline of what I've got on DraftKings for the moment. And I did get to a little bit of the Lopez captain without trying to, just as it's another way to try to get different. Again, I like the Portis play better, but I'm okay with having a tiny bit of exposure, which is just 2 lineups for Lopez tonight. I don't want to go any higher than that. If it was any more, I would definitely exit out. Or not exit out, but minimize it. And as you can see, I have the most owned player in the utility is Isaiah Joe. It's really hard to get away from the chalk captains over here. Having one Hartenstein lineup feels fine with me. So I have no problem with that. But again, I want to gamble, but because of the nature of the situation, it's just so hard for someone else other than these 4, much less the 5th being Hartenstein, being the highest scoring player on the slate. And it's going to be really, really tough. And you're not gaining anything on FanDuel by getting anything different. I do like this Bobby Portis. I'm going to go a little higher on the star for Bobby Portis. I could see him being the highest scoring player, second highest scoring player. But Jalen Williams should be the one I'm sort of trying to get away from Shea on, but I'm doing it more on DraftKings than I am on FanDuel. How did my football? I did good on DraftKings and poorly on FanDuel for football yesterday. Didn't hit all of my takes perfectly. It was an ugly slate. As I predicted, I did say Kirk Cousins would be the lowest scoring quarterback, and he was, but they were all terrible. So there was no real, just couldn't quite get the right mix. I had a lot of Ritter, so I was tilted by that call because maybe they get maybe they have a chance if there's 2 minutes left and they get the ball back and Ritter can get me there in garbage time. Well, not even garbage time. It would have been a chance to win the game, but sort of hoping for that. I just kind of duddish type of games. I did play the chalky Minnesota receivers enough to again make a little bit of money, but not a slate to write home about either way. Anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This is sort of where I'm at as of right now. I'm going to make a few changes and then I'll update the ownership in our Discord. What happened to my exposure? Oh, there it is. And that's FanDuel, and this is DraftKings, and this is just sort of just to give you guys an idea of where I'm at, because it's tough to play these showdowns in basketball. It's harder to get off the board, especially when you have like these types of games, which I do like doing it in the playoffs because usually you can check out the rotations and this guy's happening getting more minutes, and it's usually about finding the value from the other guys. It's kind of a hard situation really to figure out right now. This is why I have so much AJ Green at the moment. Senators already scored twice. I didn't even know that I don't do the hockey. We have Sheets and Adam Perry for that. So we got some other guys who are much better with that stuff than I am. Hopefully it's paying off for you guys. Anyway, appreciate all the love as usual. Great to see you guys. Have a great Tuesday. Wednesday, I don't even know what the hell we're going to do, but I'm sure we'll have plenty of content tomorrow as well. Good luck, everybody.